Alright guys, today we got a 2004 Acura. We have a window issue on the driver's side. The motor quit working and it made a bunch of noise. And I think the motor and the cables got all spooled out of their place and fell down inside. And now we got tape holding up the window here and everything. So we're going to take this panel off and replace this motor and everything. Now we did get another assembly online, and here's a look at that. This thing was about $70 from what I understand. They bought it online, so apparently they're not too cheap, and it's a fairly simple setup. We got some bolts here on the brace, and we got two there. Then we got a couple, probably 3 bolts here holding the motor assembly. And what happens a lot of times is this gear here, it messes up, and these cables here get pulled around and they spin around, they lock up, then eventually this whole thing here breaks, and next thing you know, your window either falls down or it ends up getting stuck. But most of the time the window just falls down. You have to replace it. So this is what we're going to do. So what we've got to do is go ahead and pull that panel off. Now this panel's been off before. I haven't taken it off, and they stuck it back on, so I'm going to have to pull it back off again. We got some clips here we got to take off. Maybe a couple of screws. Shouldn't be too hard. Then we got to get a spud tool behind here, pull this off, and then it'll give us some excess here into this motor, which is down inside behind that panel. Alright, so first things first, gotta get behind here and pop this little panel off behind this door handle. Get this thing out of the way, and as I expected, we have our first Phillips screw there we have to take out, so let's get that out. And if you look closely, we don't have one, but we have 2 Phillips screws holding this piece on. This is the first I've actually seen 2 screws. Alright, there's 1 screw, and this is a very special screw. See how that's made there? So you cannot substitute that screw for anything else if you want to keep your Acura in really good shape. So we'll put that over there. And we got 1 more on the bottom right here. Let's get this one out. Hopefully you can see this thing's not messing up the camera too much today. And there's that one. Grab that one there. Get that one out. And there is that one. So off to a good start so far. We haven't broken anything yet. Alright, so we got that screw out. Now you might think this here you have to pull off, but this is actually made on here. You don't have to pull this off. This will just allow this whole panel to kind of fall off there, so that's kind of nice. Don't know why they put that extra effort into the trim there to make you think that this piece has got to come off, but that's just the way they designed it. So let's go ahead and pull this off, get this panel here off. I don't think we got any other hidden screws here, but we'll double check real quick. Alright, so after fishing around, we pop this piece here out. We have another screw right about there that we have to take off. That is also a Phillips screw. Let's go ahead and get this one off too. And this one looks like a regular Phillips screw. Doesn't look very special like the other ones were. There we go. Yeah, this is just a regular screw there. Alright, after checking everything, I don't see any other screws here. Nothing on the bottom. And seems fairly loose. Now I want to have to set the camera down here. I'll get a spud tool or something, pull this off. And I'll come back here in a minute and we'll slide this off. Sometimes you can just unscrew these, but maybe we can take this out. Kind of help us out a little bit there. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Okay, we'll take that off. Yeah, that'll help us out quite a bit. There's the rod down in there. We'll deal with that later. So I'll get this out of the way. Alright, after looking around, don't see anything else. This piece here on some vehicles, you have to take this off. This one you don't. It's actually made behind this panel here, so you can see it's loose, but this does not come off. So don't pull that off and break it. And now let's go ahead and see if we get this panel off. Alright, let me see if I can take my little screwdriver here out. Yes, I can just get this right behind here. And I get nervous when I pull these panels off because you always end up breaking these clips. Now we got a light here. We'll probably have to unhook a wire. Alright, that was too easy. That was a little too easy, and we'll probably have to deal with this handle. There's probably going to be a rod behind here. And let's see if something made me out of an liar here. Let's see. It should come off. Let me set the camera down so I don't break this. I'm going to just kind of lift up and pull out on it. Alright, yeah, so basically if you lift it up all the way and slide it toward the back like that, that'll release that out of there. And now all we have to do is unhook. There's a wire back here, this cable. Get this out, and we've got a couple wires on the bottom for the lights and the switches. And this panel should come off, so let me get those out. Alright, so this was a little sketchy, but right here, just slide this out of this little groove right there, and there's a little pin here, plastic clip, pull this back, and this should release this piece. There we go, right there. So, and now we have better access into our wires on the bottom down there. I'm trying to think, see if there's a better way to get to that. Hoping I can just pop this piece here off and just unplug that. Most vehicles you can, but that's the only thing we got left to do. So let me figure this out real quick. All right, so it does pop up. So I put my foot underneath here and get my hand behind here. I can push up on this like that. There we go. So I did not want to break this because these parts are so hard to find nowadays. Alright, so now we just got to get these wires out of here, and I got part of this still caught right here on this clip. Let me get that out real quick. Alright, so I figured this back piece here out. I did not want to break it. I thought it went up under this arm here, but you get your screwdriver there. There is a clip right there. See that? That actually holds that in. And now we can lift this up far enough to get these wires unhooked. There we go. Alright. That makes me happy. Now let's get this these wires unhooked here, and we should be in a lot better shape. Alright, I'll tell you what, these little clips look innocent, but they fought me. I don't know why. You'd think by just pushing on that there it would release it, but this one here was a hard one. But nothing that special, just a nice long clip there on the back of that. So just so you know, if you're working on that, there is a secondary clip there, and there's one up on the front. And that's what holds it in there. All right. And now we'll let this drop down, and we've got one wire on the bottom. My advice is probably go ahead and pull the just pull the bulb out, get it out of the way. And there's our door panel, and let's see how many clips we broke. And we broke one right there. My thumb is, and it's still attached to the door, so nothing unusual. At least the speakers are easy to get to. Alright, we'll set this off to the side here, and so my advice is when you first start working on the vehicle, go ahead and pop this up out of the armrest and unhook these. Get this out of the way, and that way when you get the wires unhooked, this door panel will come down a lot farther and let you work with things, especially like this here, and we're good. So now we got to take, looks like, get this plastic off, but I'm going to go ahead and take this here out, get this out of the way, because I don't want to tear this plastic. Because if you live in the Northeast, you really need this plastic for moisture barrier in the wintertime. Keep the moisture out and heat in. So that's why I don't like to really tear this plastic that much. And now get this out of the way. So now, yeah, someone's used some, looks like liquid nail. Ew. Yeah, okay. Well, hey, better than nothing, you know. Alright, let's get this pulled back out of the way. It's out of the way. Hey, let me know where you're watching from right now. Alright. I think we're back far enough. I'm trying not to get this stuff all over the car. It's not that dry. It was just dealt with a few days ago. There's some on the dash already. So let's just take this all the way out. Make my life a little bit easier. Alright. Ew. Alright, so we'll get this out of the way. Alright, getting that off, let's go ahead and get our wire here connector disconnected from the motor. Now what we have to do next, these three for the motor, we got 2 here for the top track, and we got 2 here for the bottom track, and that should get us out. And also on the bottom of the window here, you'll have some, we'll have to lower the window down, but there should be an access panel here, and hopefully over here we can kind of get the 2 bolts that hold this whole assembly into this window glass here. There'll be holes in it. So for now, let's go ahead and get all these bolts out. All right, let's go ahead and get these out. We'll take all these out except for one. So I don't think the window will fall right out, but you never know. But we'll leave one of the bottom ones in. Let's get this one out here. See how long these are. They're not terribly long, but well. All right, one on the top here. Sorry about the bird noise, folks, but I guess it's better than living in a city listening to traffic all day, right? Hey, consider it free, royalty-free sounds of nature, right? All right, there's that one. I got to work with one hand and hold the camera in the other. And now let's loosen this one up and see. Put my hand behind here and see. All right. Well, it's ready to come out. So I think if I take this one out, the window should stay. Well, it's got tape up there. Okay, so the window ain't going nowhere, or is not going anywhere. Ain't. All right, so there's that. All right, so there's all our bolts. Now basically this is ready to come out. What I'm going to have to do now is figure out where those bolts are in the bottom of that window track there to hold that glass up and get this out of here. So let me set the camera down. I got glue all over my hands. I'm going to wipe my hands off and come back. Alright, so I got the last of the tape off. I got to somehow get this off without letting the window slide down. Let me see. This last piece of tape is going to let this window slide down. I'll just throw that down. Oh, the window's moving. Oh, I'll grab that. There we go. All right, so the window's coming down, and there are our 2 bolt holes that we have access into those bolts. And let's see. I think our motor fell down in there, did it? Did it not? Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go ahead and bolt these 2 here off. Get these off and see what. I think after that we can get this track out. Alright, so I got one bolt out with the magic of my foot holding the window up, and now we got one more here to take out, which is right here. I'm going to have to push the window back up. It's great if you have someone to help you. Alright, we'll do it this way. I got my elbow holding the window up. The other hand getting our last bolt out right there. You can see where that white piece is. That is the piece that bolts on the bottom of the window with the holes in it. And I got my left hand working and the right hand holding the camera. Alright, there it is. Alright, it's probably going to fall. Yep. Alright, so stick this bolt off to the side. And now get my elbow off the window. Oh, alright, so down the window goes. And let's see if I can grab this with the other hand. Alright, so the window is all the way down, and I didn't break it. Yay! So now we got to do is fish out the motor track. The motor, the whole assembly is going to have to come out through here. So what I'm going to do first is go ahead and get this window out of the way completely. I think I'm just going to fish it out of the top, see if I can get it completely out of the way. Alright, at least they made this nice enough to get this window out. Some vehicles, it's just impossible to get these windows out of a vehicle. Alright, let's set this off the side, and here is the piece I was telling you about that the window bolts to the track. So pretty simple setup, actually. I kind of like that. And now grab our motor here, motor, or what's left of it. I'm sure it's gonna be caught on something. Oh wow, there's part of the wire. All right, well there's that. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Some of you may get that. Let's see. Oh, that motor's down in there. It's actually caught on a wire. I'm going to have to get my hand way back in there and pull up on it somehow. Oh, come on. Oh, gee, it's over here. It's behind. Oh, I see. It's behind that speaker. I need to stick my second hand in there and turn it. All right, there we go. Ta-da! See, here's what happens. Ooh, this piece here probably broke. Yeah, I don't know where the second part of the other. There's another cable there somewhere. Maybe it's down in there, or maybe it got wrapped completely around inside there. But anyway, regardless, the motor's fine. You can reuse this motor. Throw the track away. All right, so we'll get our new one, stick it in there. We'll look in here, make sure we don't see any stowaways, any tools. You never know. Hit the door if you hear any rattling. And I guess we're ready to stick it back in. Should be pretty easy to do. Should be no issue. What we'll do, we'll bolt the track in first, then put the window in. Now, you probably could have just unbolted the window and somehow fish the window out, but really, in order to get this window out, you got to drop it all the way down and turn it sideways and get it out of these tracks right here. Then slide the window up. That way, once you get it out of these tracks here and over here in the back, that'll allow that window to flex a lot more. But as long as that window is sitting in these tracks like this, the only thing you can do is just pull this window straight up, because it's going to stay in these tracks all the way up. So if you get them out somehow and you can get the window out, you can get the window out, then take this out. But more than likely, you're probably not going to be able to do that. But hey, you know, if your track is completely busted and broken and it's laying on the bottom, then maybe you can just unbolt the window that way and fish it out. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the track in. All right, let's go ahead and look at this here. Let's match everything up. We got our two holes here, just like they should be. Two here. And on the bottom here, we got these two holes, just like these two. Same here. Same here. And I see what's missing. They must have pulled the old cable out and threw it away, because this is designed here with two cables. So everything looks good. The angle looks good. We got the same holes everywhere. And I guess we'll go ahead and stick it on. All right, everyone. So after some fiddling around trying to figure out what's probably best for you, I went ahead and put the window back in, put some tape on it, because if the window's up all the way, and when we slide this back in, you can see this here is about halfway down. We can put this in and eventually let the window slide down onto this and put our bolts in here. So I think this is probably the better way to do it. And we'll just simply pick this up, slide it in the hole, and start bolting our bolts up. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in. All right, you can kind of watch me here. I forgot I had this with a tripod with the camera mount on it for a cell phone. So make sure you don't get too much dirt on this here, because this wire's got to ride up and down on this track here, or kind of rub against it. And you don't want to get any dirt in there, so it's pretty clean. And now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to, let's see, like this. Yep, goes in just like that. And we'll slide this in like this. Up. Take my other hand and go up there above the door speaker. Grab the motor, set it straight up like that. And there we go. Start our bolt holes. So that wasn't too bad to actually get in. So. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get a couple bolts started. Alright, so we got one of our bolts started there. I think you can see that. We've got this one here. We'll get this in. And I think the hard part's done now. So there's that one. And you can see where the three holes are here. Kind of tight, but it goes in. Now all we got to do is tighten that down. Alright, let's go ahead and snug these down here. Get all three of these in, and that wasn't too bad. Now let's go ahead and plug our plug in here, make sure it goes in, and we're good. So hard part's done now. So all we got to do is go ahead and get this track bolted up here, slide our window down and bolt it in, and we're just about done. Alright, we'll snug these down on the top. Those are on. And also these on the bottom. Nice and snug. And really the only two we got left is the window. Okay, so what we got to do now is go ahead and turn the key on and lower this motor down until we see this white piece drop down in here with the two holes in it. That will be our bolts for our window. But first, we got to hook up our switches temporarily. All right, so we got our switch in there temporarily. We'll put the key in the ignition. All right, let's see if this motor lowers. I like that, yes. All right. Whoops, there it is. Right, whoops, down, there we go, whoops. There we go, how's that? Yeah, we can see both holes pretty well. That's cool. And now we'll go ahead and take our tape off the window here. Let this window slide down a little bit. We'll hold it with one hand, and we'll come over here and we'll simply let this window slide down to these holes here and put our bolts in. So it may take a little wiggle, and there we go. And we're in like Flynn. How about that? See that? We got a hole there, and we simply put our bolts in, and our window is in. All right, so we got that one started. Now remember, these are the really long bolts. Don't get these messed up. So these got to go in there because this plastic's pretty thick. It's got to take up quite a bit of length there. Get that one started there. And there we go. So all we got to do is tighten everything down, and we're almost done. All right, let's finish snugging these down there. Snug them down nice and tight. Not real tight, just nice and tight because there's plastic there, you know. And just like that, as I pull this socket out, we are done. All right, now we'll put the key in the ignition. We'll roll the window up and down. Let's test it and see how she does. How about that? If you can do this job, you've saved yourself $450. Just like that, my friend, we are done. So at this point, all we gotta do is put our plastic back on, get our door panel put back on, get our plugs all hooked up, and our door latch, and we'll be done. All right, so the messy plastic is back on. Make sure you hook this wire right here for your mirror because that is easy to miss. And make sure all your wires are ran through this hole here in the center. And to save yourself a little hassle, you can make sure the holes that are already in the plastic, make sure they're kind of lined up where they actually go into the piece right there. There's little screw plastic pieces. That way you don't have to make new holes through the plastic. And take one good look at it. If it looks good to you, let's go ahead and put the panel on. Now one thing I was kind of curious about this handle piece here that we're talking about earlier, this trim. Boy, if you could just pop this off, it would make this door handle a lot easier to manage, especially that little rod on the back. But as I look back here, there's really no way to get this piece out without breaking it, so I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just do it the way I did it. Just put your hand behind here and unhook all this and take it off, just so you know. All right, so the door panel is kind of on there. I got the wires kind of snaked up through here, and the center piece here looks good for the door lock, and also my holes right here. I can see those, put the screws back in. All we gotta do is kind of knock this back in here like this. And that looks good. Now it looks good. Put our screws in and finish up. But wait, even I mess up, and I'm not too proud to admit it sometimes. We got to put this guy here on, our armrest piece. We got to put that on there, so we got to get these little bolts back in here. Then we put the panel back on and finish up. So what happens when you work outside in the hot heat sometimes, sunshine. We get this on and we'll put the panel on here and we'll be done. All right, tighten that down. Now we'll put the panel back on. Right, after owning up to one of my mistakes, now we go ahead and tighten that screw there down because that actually goes in there like that. Put that cover on her back in there like that. Tighten these up here just a little bit more, make sure they're tight. There's that one. Put our switch is on, and we're done. And of course, we don't want to forget our little beauty cover here. Back in there, like that. And now we'll put our switches in. And also, before you put your panel on finally, make sure you hook up your door handle wire. Don't forget that. Okay, now finish up. All right, guys, so she's all back together. I checked everything. It's easy to forget certain things, so you got to take your time. But other than that, our window goes all the way down and goes all the way up, just like it should. So I'm real happy we got this done. So thanks for watching, guys, and until my next video, I will see you later.